Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Virtually Done Part 1. My name is Malcolm Rembert, and I'm currently a social work intern at the Office of Diversity and Inclusion. Recently, many students have expressed the various stresses that online classes have taken on you all. So the Department of E-Learning and I decided to collaborate together to discuss strategies that students could use to handle the course load and stresses of online e-learning. With that being said, I'll now like to introduce you to Dr. Racheal Brooks, who is the coordinator of the Office of E-Learning for NCCU, as well as a Spanish and graduate level research methods instructor at North Carolina Central University. Dr. Brooks' research interests include online instruction, learner success, online curriculum development, digital accessibility, instructional technology, qualitative research methods, program assessment, and etc. Her recent publications include Course Design Quality Matters Training and Student Outcomes, published in American Journal of Distance Education and Online Counselor Education, Creative Approaches and Best Practices in Online Learning Environments, published in Research on Education Psychology. Dr. Brooks earned a Bachelor of Spanish from North Carolina Central University and Master's in Spanish Literature from Georgia State University, and a PhD in Educational Research and Policy Analysis, with a specialization in higher education administration from North Carolina State University. So, with that being said, I'll now let you turn it over to Dr. Brooks.
Thank you so much, Malcolm.
Of
So,
course.
hello, everyone. I am excited to be here and to share some strategies with you all. As a student who has participated in online learning, as an instructor who has created online learning, and now as a trainer who actually is kind of like a professor for the professors regarding online learning, I recognize how challenging it can be sometimes, especially when you don't intend to take online courses. Many of us are aware that NCCU has a traditional online learning platform or approach to providing education. And that is through our NCCU online, essentially our online university, where we have fully online degree programs, courses that have been designed to be taught online. And in that avenue, our instructors go through rigorous training to be prepared to provide high quality online learning. We also have our on the ground residential program where our colleagues or my colleagues and your professors have put together exceptional courses. But because of what has happened in March as a result of COVID-19, we have had to abruptly transition. And we recognize that that transition can be stressful for students. We know that it can be hard on you. And I will kind of give a little insight. It has been challenging for your professors as well, because many of them are teaching online for the first time. So while I am working with them separately, and I'm using the feedback that you all have provided to help give some clarity regarding what's going well and what areas can be improved, I wanted to connect with you all, and I thank you, Malcolm, for the opportunity to do so, to share with you some strategies for how you can, on your end, create a positive learning environment and experience, and hopefully minimize some of the stresses that you may be encountering. So the first thing that I would like to highlight is just what technical support is there for you. There are a number of levels that you'll find and a number of variables that you may find that can impact what you feel as far as stress. And one of them is technical issues. Like I said, I'm working with your instructors to help them know what is available, how to navigate these new technologies and technologies that may be different from what they're accustomed to using. But on your end, you can also encounter some technologies that are new to you. And so you always want to make sure that you are reaching out to ETAC for support. That's our Eagle Technical Assistance Center that can provide you support related to any issues you're experiencing with your personal device, with devices that you might be using on campus, login information, passwords. If you are running into issues, for example, with your login with Blackboard, there's going to be a follow-up that's going to be sent out, and I'll provide some information with everything that you see today. But one of those is the contact information for how you can get support with Blackboard. So if you're running into troubles regarding technical aspects of Blackboard, not so much what your professor put or might not have put in the course, but you getting into Blackboard, there's issues regarding you navigating around, there is a group of persons on campus that you can contact for support. And so I will make sure you have that information. You'll usually find, and this is what we are encouraging to your professors, is information not only about the ETAC help desk, but also you should find within your course a list of email addresses, different websites and phone numbers for student support services and course tools that are in the course. So if your instructor has you working on using like a third-party tool, maybe you're using MyLab or Cengage MindTap, for example, there should be contact information where you can get that technical support. Now, your instructor most likely will not be the perfect person that provides you technical support for those other tools, but it is their responsibility to make sure you have that information so you can get the help when you need it. You'll also often find video tutorials and about how to use the different tools in your course. If you do not readily see that in Blackboard, that's also going to be linked. You'll see a little bit later on a list of resources that you're going to receive. And one of them are tutorials that you can use to help make sure you know how to use the different tools within Blackboard. And then you should also be able to find a variety of resources on the web to help support you, as well as different ways that you can develop technical skills. So some examples of that are the Blackboard student orientation page, our UNC Online Learning 101 provided by the UNC System Office, as well as the Goodwill Community Foundation. So I would like to share with you just very quickly what those look like. The online student orientation, you will find in Blackboard, when you first log into Blackboard, it should be listed under a section that says no term assigned, because it does not have a specific term. This is consistent and available to you at all times. So it's the Blackboard student orientation, and it walks you through all of the different features and functionalities that you will find in Blackboard. If you are not aware of how to use different things in Blackboard, or your professor is saying, okay, upload an assignment, and you're trying to figure out how to do that or what that looks like, you can go to the student orientation at any time and go through each of these sections to see how you are able to utilize those different features in Blackboard. So there are checklists that are available to you. It breaks down, for example, how to do online assignments, what tips are available to you for making sure that you're submitting successfully the first time. And so I strongly encourage you to use that. You will also find one of the links that I'm going to share with you is the Online Learning 101. As I had said, this is provided through the UNC System Office. If you go to where it says enrolled students, we're going to click on that. And it's going to ask you to select your institution. So we're going to choose NCCU. And it's going to have you log in with your username and password. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Hopefully it doesn't make me do the dual password. There we go. And so it takes you to the one specific to NCCU. It will walk you through an orientation and these 4 different modules: technology, the online classroom, fitting online learning into your life, as well as student services. So let's just skip ahead and go to fitting online learning into your life. There's a short video, as well as different lessons that will help you. So for example, time management is a great one that you can use to help you think about, what does it mean to plan ahead? What does it mean to manage your time as you are working in the online environment? So there are a wealth of other resources. I know I'm limited on my time with you, and so I just wanted to highlight that, but I strongly encourage you reviewing that. I think it may be very helpful for you as you're trying to navigate what it looks like to engage in the online environment, especially when you weren't planning on doing so. Now, some individuals may be experiencing stress because there are certain skills your instructors expect you to have, and you may not necessarily have them. So the Goodwill Community Foundation is an amazing resource that I found that will break down and provide tutorials for how to use different tools and resources. So let's say, as far as with the internet, you want to become more tech savvy. You want to have tips and strategies. Or let's say, if we delve a little bit deeper into that, you want tips on how to perform better searches. You are looking for information, you want to conduct research online, and you need additional tools on how to do that. The Goodwill Community Foundation is a wonderful resource that you can use that will help you look deeper into some of those skills that your instructors may expect you to have. Okay? All right, so let us get back into this. Okay, now on our campus, another stressor could be not having the support services that you need, especially as it relates to accessibility. So I strongly encourage you to contact the Office of Student Accessibility Services if you feel that there may be an accommodation that you might need to help you be successful in the online environment. We are training your instructors on how to create online learning experiences that are accessible to as many students as possible. But there are avenues by which you can reach out for support in the event that your online course isn't accessible, or if you're taking a face-to-face course and it's what we call high flex, where a good portion of it is happening online. If you are running into accessibility issues or troubles, please feel free to reach out to the Office of Student Accessibility Services, and they will contact me. They will contact your instructor, they will contact the Office of Faculty Professional Development, and we will work together to make sure that that content is available to you. Now, one of the documents that I'm going to share with you as well is related to accessibility on our campus. And so one of those breaks down what it looks like to receive accommodations in the online environment. So what does it mean to have time and a half or double time on a test? This first section is for faculty, but if you scroll to the bottom of the document, you will find information related to students. So what does that look like for students to receive accommodations? If you feel that you need additional assistance to level the playing field, to make sure that you are successful online, please be sure to contact the Office of Student Accessibility Services so that they can provide you any guidance, they can perform an evaluation if necessary, and make sure that you receive the accommodations that you need. Okay, so. Okay, now this is one of my favorite tools. One of my favorite tips for you is to use a service called Upswing Tutoring. Now, Upswing Tutoring is something that is provided through the Division of Extended Studies. We are paying for a license. Because we are doing it campus-wide right now, I believe the maximum amount of support that you can receive per week is 2 hours. And that's just to make sure that everyone has as much access to it as possible, and one group of students isn't monopolizing it over others. But Upswing Tutoring is an amazing resource, and we're going to take a look at it really quickly, where if you go to that website, northcarolina.upswing.io, and we are going to select our school, North Carolina Central University, log in, and we are encouraging faculty to put a direct link to Upswing Tutoring in their Blackboard courses. Okay, let me go to, let's go to student. Okay, and so what you are going to do as a student, you're going to click with Meet with a Tutor, and you will type the subject that you are taking. So for example, I'm going to type one of the classes that I'm teaching, EDGR. You know what, let's do a Spanish class. Let's do SPAN. Okay, so Elementary Spanish 1. For those of you who might be taking Elementary Spanish 1, you can type in the subject. And then what will happen is Upswing, let's click on the link so it'll filter the results. All right, here we go. And so it shows who is available on any given day to provide you tutoring and support. Okay, so let's see, if we wanted to tutor with someone on October 27th, these are the 4 individuals who are available. So let's check out Kating. We're gonna select her schedule. And you will be able to see when she is available to provide tutoring. Now, these are individuals who have already been vetted by the Upswing organization as individuals who are qualified to provide tutoring for the different subjects that you see listed where it says skills, the different subjects that you see. These are the ones at NCCU that this person has been determined to be qualified to serve as a tutor. So Upswing Tutoring is a wonderful resource that you can use to get that support. Let's say if you're not able to tutor with someone on campus or with your instructor, you can reach out to Upswing Tutoring, and that is another service that's provided by NCCU. Now, one of the documents that I did mention also is just a quick list of support services. So first we have the academic support services, where they're located, their email address, as well as different websites that you can visit to receive support from them. As well as, if we scroll a little bit further down, so you see we have the writing studio, university college, but we also have the different student support services. So this is another document that we're strongly encouraging faculty to have in their courses, but in the event that you do not see this in your Blackboard course, you will also have this as a follow-up resource to today's webinar. So, what are your professors doing? I'm sure many of you are curious about how your professors are preparing to provide you with quality experiences, either online as traditional online courses, or in the case of high flex courses where that online component is being introduced pretty recently. We are providing trainings to your professors every semester. This semester, we put a pause on our formal trainings. So this, the flyer that you see on the screen right now is just an example of the types of topics that we go over in depth with your professors. But because of the nature of this fall, we are providing direct support to different schools, colleges, departments, when we are hearing that there are needs. So there may be some instructors who are having challenges with assessment. So we are working directly with different schools and colleges or departments and providing one-on-one trainings for faculty, as well as departmental trainings. So your professors are being expected by their leadership to engage in these trainings. They are designing the courses, they're teaching them, but they're also getting support for those best practices on how to provide quality online learning experiences. So in the event that you run into issues related to when you are working with your instructors and you're not quite sure how to get the support that you need when you need it, there are some avenues that you can utilize to help get that assistance. So if you have reached out, I like to call it, I've learned from one of my mentors, my 3 email rule. If we email 3 times, that means we need to find another alternative. So the first recourse is, if you are reaching out to your instructors and you're not hearing back from them and you're not sure what's going on, reach out again. Always try to contact your instructor first. Now, about after that 3rd email, if you still have not heard from your instructor, and reasonable 3 emails, don't send an email at 11 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock in the morning, and 2 o'clock, and then give them time to respond. Okay, so let's say after 72 hours, if you've reached out 3 or more times and you haven't heard anything, the next person that you need to contact is your academic advisor. If you are further along in your program, your academic advisor will most likely be a professor within that department. Otherwise, if you're a first-year student or if you're a sophomore, your academic advisor will be in the university college. These are persons who are trained to support you. So they will know what the next step will be. They will contact you for additional conversations just to get a better idea of what's going on. They will reach out to your professors, and if necessary, they may also reach out to the department chairperson. But these are the individuals who are there to support you. So if you haven't gotten anywhere with your professor and you've given them the opportunity to respond, I strongly encourage you to reach out to your academic advisors. At that point, if there's still a resolution that hasn't been met, we will then be brought in either in the Division of Extended Studies. It may escalate a little bit further, but usually it's able to be handled with your academic advisor. So I hope this information was helpful. And I will include my contact information if you have specific concerns. But I think this may be a nice stepping stone to make sure that you have what you need to minimize the stress you may be experiencing online and to help you be successful.
So I think I have a couple questions, Dr. Brooks. I'm wondering, one, what is this thing about blue light and coming out of the computers, and how do we prevent that from affecting us?
Yes. So blue light, I have found, can be a stressor. Um, Blue light is that backlighting that is part of your computer to help make sure that elements on your screen show up and are visible to you. The problem with it is blue light can, for your body, simulate daylight. And so if you're working on your computer late at night and you have that blue light coming through, it can trick your body into thinking, oh, it's still daytime. And so it leaves you, after having worked on your device, it leaves you feeling as though you might not be able to fall asleep. So it's very helpful, especially as you are winding down in the day, to have your computer set such that that blue light is filtered out. Now, one of the ways that you can do that on many devices, you can go to your settings and you are able to shift it into kind of a night mode. On a Mac, there is the option for that. You can also do that on a PC. You should be able to do that on your Chromebook as well. But it essentially is kind of like sunglasses for your computer, where it filters out that blue light to help your body maintain that natural rhythm and kind of wind down, which will help with your sleep. Another way to help with filtering out blue light is to purchase blue light glasses. So for those of you who can see the screen, if you look at the glasses that I have, you will see that there is a blue glare on them. And that's representing that blue light that's being filtered out by my glasses from my computer. The lenses themselves are actually a little yellow. I don't know if you can see that. They're a little yellow. And that is what helps to filter out the blue light. So by being able to do that, it will help physiologically with your body just kind of, adjust to using your device, but also not throwing off that natural sleep rhythm that you want to maintain.
One more question. I've noticed with a lot of my students, since I teach first year seminar, that a lot of them have Chromebooks because of the affordability. Can you talk about what options there are if your Chromebook isn't working for one particular application? And maybe if the computer labs are open, because I don't even know if the computer labs are open, and what kind of safety measures they are taking in the computer labs.
Right. So I believe that the computer labs are open, and I can verify that just to be sure. But I will let you know that the safety measures that are being utilized in the different areas on campus are consistent. If you are going to use an area that does provide computers, you want to maintain social distancing. You want to make sure that you're not congregating in large groups. Wear a mask when you are on campus, and just be very just be very mindful of washing your hands, especially if you're using a public device, a device that's being shared by other individuals. Wash your hands beforehand, use the device, wash them again afterward. If you happen to have any hand sanitizer or gel, you're able to use that, or wipes. Please make sure, and we appreciate those of you who are wanting to maintain a safe environment, but don't spray the devices, don't spray the keyboards, don't spray the devices, just because, of course, as normal, we want to make sure that we're not adding moisture to the computers. But for those of you who might be using Chromebooks, we did recognize that one of the tools that we use on campus for proctoring, for example, a tool called the Respondus Lockdown Browser. If you are using a Chrome device and your instructor informs you that one of the assessments you're going to be taking in your course uses the Respondus Lockdown Browser, please contact them as soon as possible, because we have, or it has been brought to our attention, that Respondus is not compatible with the Chromebooks. And so we don't want students to miss out on the opportunity to take assessments or to perform any activities that they're expected to because of a technical issue. So again, contact your instructor. And what may be able to happen is an alternative way of proctoring an assessment may be able to occur. So we, as a response to the Respondus issue, we acquired a license for Smarter Proctoring, which is a similar service, but is compatible with Chromebooks. So the first method of bringing it to someone's attention is by contacting your instructor. If you run into issues with that after a couple of times, then contact your academic advisor. And if necessary, we will get into the conversation to help make sure that you do have equal access to your work.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I forgot I had one more question.
Sure.
Upswing tutoring is something I really didn't know about, so I really appreciate you bringing that up. I'm wondering a couple things. One is Upswing tutoring, are those NCCU professors or are they tutors that are just out there in the world? And will they understand NCCU culture and how NCCU works?
That is a great question. So they are tutors out there in the world. And part of the appeal to that is because there are individuals from different time zones, which increases accessibility for students so that you don't have to, if your ideal time, which is mine sometimes as an instructor, if your ideal time for working is 3 o'clock in the morning, because that's when everything is quiet, that's when you're able to focus, that's when you're not at your job. Some of you may be caregivers, and that may be the time when you're able to focus. We wanted to make sure that you had someone available to you who could support you. And so that was the appeal to that, and that you could find a tutor around the clock. Now, there are, as you had shared, Ms. Guzman, part of the drawback is these individuals may or may not be familiar with NCCU. A number of them are, though, but some of them may not be. So although Upswing Tutoring is a wonderful resource available to you, also know that there is tutoring that's provided by NCCU through university college, through your different departments. If you are unsure, either reach out to your professors, reach out to your academic advisors, or reach out to the department chairpersons in those respective departments to find out which tutors are available to assist you. So although Upswing does not necessarily have a direct affiliation with NCCU, by providing a variety of tutoring resources for students, both through Upswing and through NCCU, we hope to create a comprehensive support network.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Malcolm, do you have any questions?
Also, I didn't know I could unmute myself, but sorry. Actually, I have like 2 questions in one statement.
Okay.
Well, it's not a statement, it's more like advice. I know a lot of students don't want to pay for Microsoft Word because Microsoft Word is expensive. So I just wanted to say it's like a free version of Microsoft Word called Apache Word Office that students can install on their laptops or computers. But it's just like Microsoft Word, but it's free, just in case students don't want to go to the school computer lab or the library. Because Google Docs sometimes messes up with documents. So Apache Word Office is something that students could use.
Okay.
But my question will be, a lot of students, they don't really know how to go about tutoring on campus because a lot of TAs are busy now, especially with their own classes and etc. So is Upswing tutoring free?
Yes. Upswing Tutoring is free. So it's free to students. So it's not a free service, but we are paying for it. The Division of Extended Studies is paying for it so that it is free to students. Now, because it started out specifically for NCCU online students who were taking online classes. So when you look at your schedule, if your class says OL, originally it was created for them to be able to use almost, without limit. When March came and we had to address, the fact that all students were working at that time, what we called remotely, we had to spread out that license. And so at this point, to my knowledge, everyone can use Upswing for a maximum of 2 hours per week. And I'm thinking that is, I'll follow up with it, but I know that our goal is to be able to eventually increase that so that more students can take advantage of it. But at this point, everyone can use it. And all you need to do is just go in, type your class. If you do not see your course listed, you can check and see if there are any other similar courses listed. And if not, bring it to the attention of your academic advisor, or you can contact our office directly and we can, let them know, hey, this may be another course that we might want to see added to the list.
I only have one more question because I'm just now learning about the student accessibility services. Can you clarify one more time, like how would that work?
Okay, that's a great question. So student accessibility services is there to, in a nutshell, level the playing field. We recognize that a lot of students may come in from their K-12 institutions, coming in from high school, and they may have had what were referred to as IEPs, or anything can happen. I ended up registering with the Office of Student Accessibility Services when I was a student on NCCU's campus. I don't mind sharing that, because I was rushing from I had class and then I was rushing to a student meeting. And on my way out my door, I hit my ankle on the corner of my dresser and I fractured my ankle. And so I registered with the Office of Student Accessibility Services for the accommodation of having additional time to get to class because I was on crutches going around campus. So you reach out to the Office of Student Accessibility Services if you have any type of accessibility issue that will prevent you from, or if you need an accommodation to assist you with the accessibility issue that you have, to make sure you have the same advantages as your colleagues. So it may be needing closed captioning on videos. It may be that you need additional time on a test because it may take some students a little bit longer to process information. There may be students who experience varying degrees of color blindness and need an accommodation to support that. Some students may have dyslexia, for example, that may cause them to, switch letters around. There's another one for dyslexia, but specifically related to math. And so they may need an additional time working on their assessments, their quizzes, their tests. And there may be accommodations that students need because we hope this does not happen to any of our students, but especially now with all that's going on, if you are sick, reach out to Student Accessibility Services so that that can be documented and they can work with your instructors to make sure that you are not penalized for something that's beyond your control. So the thing about Student Accessibility Services, however, is that if you register with their office, well, first of all, it's the responsibility of the student to register. And your accommodations, those measures of assistance that students receive, must be abided by their instructors. We as instructors are obligated by law to abide by the accommodations that are provided to students, but only from the day that we are informed onward. So that's why we say register early, because it's not retroactive. It doesn't happen. You can't say, well, I got an accommodation, so can you do this for the 8 weeks that just passed? We can only focus on now and forward. And then it has to be often. So you must register at the beginning of every semester, every term, because accommodations can and often do change. Sometimes students need more accommodations, sometimes they need less.
Well, thank you, Dr. Brooks, for speaking and giving me your time to lighten students or strategies to assist them during the rest of the e-learning courses. Also, thank you, viewers, for watching this event. With that being said, this will not conclude the end of Virtually Done Part 1. If you have any questions for this event, you are more than welcome to leave your questions or comments at the bottom of this video.